What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I only got half of you there. Excuse? No?
Yeah, 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 it's alright. I just posted a song. I didn't bring
Your headphones?
my headphones.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Do you want me to?
No, no, go
Okay.
ahead. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, guys. We're just here in the media room at the end of day number 3 of VNL Quebec City. Wrapping things up. Once again, a little not as tired as yesterday. Didn't go 5 sets tonight, and didn't go back-to-back 5-setters, but still a little bit tired. So we're going to jump into it. Just the 2 matches that we watched today, Bulgaria, Argentina, France, Italy, and then we're going to shut it down because tomorrow's going to be a big one, okay? Starting up with the first match of the day, Argentina playing their 3rd match in a row. They got in Tuesday, practiced late, then played Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can tell they're gassed. And on the other side of the net, Bulgaria with a much better cohesive effort today as a team, going down and getting the 3-dong on Argentina. And to be honest, they deserved it. I think MONI set a much better, more balanced offense for Bulgaria. Antov today was much better. Much better. 11 for 19 and attacking with a 42% efficiency, 1 block and 2 aces for the opposite. And Alex NIKOLOV as well. He was 13 for 24 with a 38% efficiency, with an ace. Yeah, with 1 ace. Just much better all around, much better distribution for Bulgaria. I found that their block defense was way better, much more on point, much more detailed, and also their coverage. They kept many more rallies alive just by proper coverage, being there for their teammates, and then getting ready for that second hit. Today was a much more cohesive effort by Bulgaria. On the other side of the net, however, it was a little bit of a different story for it was a little bit of a different story for Argentina. As I said before, they were clearly tired. They clearly were going through it. Some interesting choices in who they started as well. Once again, going with Luciano Polonsky. He was unreal last night. Could just tell he just didn't have the legs underneath him today. He was 8 for 21 with a 33% efficiency. Only got blocked once and had no errors, but still just not as terminal as we saw him yesterday. He also added 2 blocks and an ace. Passed pretty decent. Actually, never mind. He passed terribly. 29% positive, 0% perfect. And I mean, that was the big story for Argentina here. Their first touch, terrible. 36% positive, 3% perfect. Just had a hard time being in system. And we just saw a lot of errors kind of everywhere. Like I said, Polonsky really wasn't great. We saw Sanchez get pulled out for Gerardo a number of times. And that flow that we saw with Argentina, especially later in the match, in the first set and then later in the match last night, and then against France on Wednesday, just wasn't there at all. They kept in Gomez, who played for Ciudad this year, formerly for Montpellier, and I don't know if I liked that decision. It wasn't the best. Let me pull up his stats here. Yeah, 12 for 22 with a 36% efficiency. He also had an ace. I don't know. He wasn't doing it for me. And then there was a bit of an altercation yesterday where we saw like Kurkartsev and Mendez kind of going at each other. I actually was having a chat with Kurkartsev's agent, and he was mentioning to me that like it seems, obviously nothing official, but it seems like there's a little bit of saltiness there right now, and that's maybe why, maybe not confirmed, maybe why Kurkartsev wasn't playing. But all in all, it just was not a good match from Argentina. They clearly looked tired, clearly did not have their legs underneath them and behind them. It was not great at all. They didn't start Lozier either. He didn't come on until halfway through the second. He only was 2 for 5 with a block. Overall, nothing great. But in the the third set, they were actually leading and actually started to gain a little momentum. Bulgaria started to cool down a little bit, and you know what? It happened. I mean, today he was way better. And he had a few highlight moments. He had a fisty in the first or second. Overbump came back over, and he put that down quickly. There was another. He had a beautiful. He went up, and everyone, the entire world, thought he was going to dump it. Dished it to the right side. Got Antov on a 1-0. He put that away. There was another play at the beginning of the third where he ran all the way to the bench, popped it all the way back up for Alex, who crushed it well on a 3-man block. He was a bit of a highlight reel, no doubt about it, but no more so than being, down by or tied and down late in the fifth, and he goes back and crushes 2 immediate aces, walk-off aces for the young MONI NIKOLOV, and I actually got to talk to him afterwards. So if you want to head over to head over to our channel, or just seeing the suggested videos, it's probably going to be there too. It was clearly a bit of a moment for him, and the celly afterwards was really good. So you love to see it. Bulgaria just played together as a team today, as I said, and it was a good one to watch. Kenny, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. The schedule has been absolutely terrible for people, but that's how she goes. I don't actually know who determines the schedule. I think that only maybe Canada gets to pick where their slots are, and then everything else is just generated by the VNL. So I wouldn't blame that on us. Okay? So heading over to match number 2, this one was really interesting. It was a really, really interesting match. Italy continuing to play around with lineups, sort of. Gave the start to Richlicki this time. Gianelli once again. And who did they have on the left side? It was Porro and Francesco Sani to start the match. And I mean, man, the first set was a gangbuster set. The first set was one of the best sets I think we've seen so far in Ottawa. It was back and forth play, and France just really started to impose themselves on them. The physicality of this French team is actually really, really good. Gailly can hit balls at a crazy angles, and he hits angles that I don't think I've really seen other guys do it. He's a really unorthodox approach and an unorthodox arm, but things work out really, really well for him. Apparently, Theo Faure was really good, especially in the first half of the match. Matisse Henault was fantastic before he got an injury in the third, but you could tell that this French team just kind of it didn't matter who was going ahead in front of them. It didn't matter that there was guys like Anzani and Romano and Gianelli on the other side. They were just going out there to ball out. And you know what? That's exactly what they did. They went out there and really, really, even at times when it looked like Italy was coming down, because they handled the first 2 sets really, really nicely. And then, of course, our little Nostradamus, Devin Parsons-Sales, started saying Italy in 5, and I was like, oh, I don't want that. In all truthfulness, I wanted France in 5 because I wanted them to be tired and satisfied from tonight before they play Canada tomorrow at 4. But yeah, no, this French team overall, I really liked them. Tizi Oualou tonight was way, way, way better. Way, way, way better. Also got an interview with him. It'll be out shortly. He had a much better rhythm to his offense, and in talking to him afterwards, he was just saying, I did a bunch of video. We were looking at my connection with the hitters, and I knew it was off. And tonight, that's really what I focused on, and you could tell. I think they had 49%. They were hitting at a 49%. They had 33% efficiency. And it was just much more of a French offense, the way it flowed all night long. But, you've got 4 different guys in double digits in this one. Faure with 12, Clevenot with 13, Utz with 13. He also had 4 blocks on the night. And then Guy with 11. As I said, Matisse Henault went down with it looked like maybe a hip or an ankle in the second set. They brought in, who did they bring in here? Noah Duflos-Rossi, who was all right for them coming off the bench. Wasn't fantastic. 1 for 4, 0% efficiency, not much else there. Passing was decent. And then after that, they brought in Antoine Patron in the fourth, and he was much better. 3 for 5 with a block and an ace. So it's 5 points in that fourth set for Patron to really help France push past. And you know what? Italy there was many points throughout that set. For the majority of that set, I thought Italy was going to be able to take it, but really hats off to this young French team. And that's, you could tell that Gianni was really happy with the win afterwards. After when I talked to him, it was the same things with Amir Tizi Oualou. Also, Klevnoa, I talked to him. He only wanted to do it in French though, so I had terrible French in that interview. I'm gonna warn you before. It's weird. Like, I've been speaking French no problem all weekend, and then he said he wanted to do it in French, and I just clammed up. So fair warning. But yeah, you could tell that this French team was really, really happy and really, really satisfied with this win. I mean, Italy is Italy. You've got Gianelli on the other side of the net. You've got Anzani. You've got plenty of guys. So they were just missing a bit of their normal sparkle tonight, especially on the left side. I would say Luca Porro was really, really good in flashes, but not so great down the stretch. Offensively, he was 12 for 23 with a 36% efficiency. I think a lot of that, like towards the later half, was a little bit more weighted in like the negative. I would say Francesco Sani was subbed out at one point in the third set in the fourth set. Yeah, in the fourth set for Mattia Botolo. Botolo wasn't great coming off the bench, and they put him back in. I think the Francesco Sani is working, though. Offensively, he was really good, 13 for 21. He hit a 62%. He had a 52% efficiency with an ace and a block as well. His passing, still not great, 32% positive, 18% perfect. Not ideal, but I mean, when you look at Lorenzano, 27% positive, 16% perfect. There's a little bit of the same there. So I think it's going well. I really want to talk to Sani. He has yet to walk through the media area. Same thing with DeGiorgi. DeGiorgi is just avoiding the media area altogether. So it was kind of nice that France won, because Gianni actually gave me a really nice interview. I'm going to read some of your comments right now in the chat, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about tomorrow before I wrap things up, because I got out of that. Hopefully I'm still live. I am. Nice. Great. Y'all guys want me to talk about Chung Boissin, but there's really not that much to say. We got to see him so little. He did rip a pretty nice serve, but it's also nice to see Chaboissin and Amir Tizi Oualou seem to be like boys. When I asked Amir Tizi Oualou to do an interview, Chaboissin was like, "I'm going to wait for you," and he did. So that was nice to see. Talking about my expectations, how do I think Canada versus France will go? I think this is going to be a tough match for Canada, but I think we can do it. I think we've come with some really, really good efforts over the past 2 days. I've really liked it, like the past couple of matches. I've really liked how we were organized. I really liked how we've been playing, especially within our block defense. France is a really tough matchup for us, just stylistically. However, we do base a lot of stuff that we do out of France, like always. Remember, Glenn coached in France for years for the French national team and in Paris before coming to Canada. Like, Dan is a coach in France. Like, we do a lot of exchanges with our different programs. So we are I think we match up decently well with them. Not great, but decent. And it's really going to depend on what kind of effort we bring, and obviously what kind of effort they bring. I'm hoping that they're maybe not at their best. We'll see. Obviously, Heno is probably going to be out for that one. Maybe we'll see if they switch it up on the right side. Who knows? But I'm excited to see what our boys are going to bring. I think we're probably going to start Sclater again. We'll probably see Kofi back in the middle. I would assume. This is just purely my assumption. Sclater was one of the best opposites in the French league this year. Kofi was the best blocker in the French league this year. It just makes sense to me to be able to have both of those guys in. I do think that it's probably maybe a toss-up between Luke and Max. I honestly didn't think we were going to be seeing that this year, but I was really impressed by Max Elgert. And there's nothing to do with anything poorly done by Luke Kerr, but I was really, really impressed by the way that Max ran that offense. His delivery and location maybe not as consistent as Luke's, but I was really happy with the way he ran that offense. And I think it's a valid thing to be able to give him more opportunities to do so, no doubt about it. So I think it's going to be a really good matchup. We're looking at a crowd of 12 to 13,000, maybe more. They're going to try to push 15, so I know that there's going to be a big ticket push at the end here. But yeah, like yeah, I'm really optimistic. I think tomorrow's just going to be a special day, and I'm ready to soak it all in. So yeah, will Rob's USA glazing video from yesterday stay on the channel? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've seen some people in the Discord say that it maybe need to be taken down. I don't really know. That's not like Rob made that video, and that's not going to be my call to make. I do think it's funny how much he was glazing them. And I'm going to tease him. I haven't watched the United States play at all, and to be perfectly fair, I'm happy that they've won. But I am going to make a lot of fun from him. That one night it's like we need to temper expectations, and the next night it's a celebration that they beat Iran in 5. Especially with everything going on politically in Iran, you have to wonder where their players' heads at. Nothing taking away from those American guys. I'm assuming, didn't watch the game once again, I'm assuming that they deserved it, and I'm happy that they did, but just mixed messaging from Mr. St. Clair over there, okay? But yeah, I think that's going to be it for me, just because it's tired. I'm tired. It's 11:30, and I want to be getting out of here. How long have we been doing this for? Let's see. Oh, only like 20 minutes. So yeah, I think that's going to be a nice quick one. Hopefully this wets your whistle nicely. Both Moni and Alex have interviews now up on the channel coming shortly. Gianni, Clevno in French, and Mirtizi Ouelou. Tomorrow we've got big matchups. Canada versus Canada versus France at 4 p.m. Yeah, right? No, Canada, France at 4:30. And then at 8, we've got Bulgaria, Germany. Cool? Thank you very much. There's no reason that any of you should be watching me, so I appreciate that you do. Have a great night. I love you all, and I will see you later. Bye. Wait, what do you do? What's happening to me?